here live at Pub Sports Radio Station down in Southtown 101. This week I'm riding solo. I don't have anybody with me. They're all caught up with some different responsibilities, but I'm ready to dive in and talk whatever's on our plate this week.
Thanks for the feeling the invite there, Coley or Zoli. That makes me feel really good.
I'm sorry,
All alone.
Buckets.
Nice.
Buckets, you will get the shout out. Don't worry about it. I always look out for my homies. But yes, I'm also joined by my main man back there, Mr. Jose, or also Mr. Buckets, as he's likes to be called. How was your weekend, Buckets?
Pretty uneventful. Another Liverpool win. That's all that matters. And Jason Tatum, my baby boy, did well. So did Kemba Walker.
They actually got to play in the All Star game.
Yeah, it was nice. Kemba Walker took over for a moment. It was awesome.
I watched a little bit towards the end, but we'll dive into that in a bit. But yeah, not much going on this week. There was basketball, but on the lighter side of things, college basketball is in full swing as we kind of see the turn of February coming around the calendar, and we all know our favorite time of the year is about to come up, and March Madness season. I know that's my favorite time of the sports season. Also, my favorite time to lose all my money in the sports season, but definitely going to be taking part of the festivities. But yeah, All Star Weekend was in full swing. We had the dunk contest, 3-point contest, the skills challenge for whatever that is. Not too fond of it, but we also had the All Star game, and honestly, it was probably one of the first All Star games I was visually like entertained with. I think there hasn't really been an All Star game in my recent memory where I felt compelled to actually watch it. It was quite entertaining. I didn't really catch most of the live, like in developing, three point contest and dunk contest. I actually had to go rewatch a lot of those, but in the moment, the All Star game was actually quite entertaining. Uh, like there's actually some incentives on the line. I know for each quarter there's definitely charities involved. Uh, what was it? Team LeBron ended up cashing home about $4,000 for a local charity
Four
in
hundred
Chicago.
thousand.
400,000 cash to what charity was it?
I don't remember. I think there are local charities around Chicago, like for children, something like
I
that.
think it was one of the public school systems.
Something
Uh,
along those lines. I'll look it up for you here in a bit. But my favorite part about it was the children all were at the game and they were all like basically like courtside or all around the lower bowl, and you can just hear them just yelling and screaming the whole time.
that was that was brutal slash kind of. I don't even know if the NBA planned on doing that, but it kind of threw a gut wrench into those kids. Um, kind of like let them in on the real world. Kind of felt like we were gambling with their livelihood. Just didn't feel as right to watch, but definitely gave the fourth quarter a lot more interesting waypoints. Uh, I barely caught the tail end of the fourth quarter, and it was honestly I was at the edge of my seats. It was pretty cool watching what was it 23 of the best players in the world actually kind of somewhat take a serious game. It kind of puts it in perspective of like how good these individuals are. Um, I at first I was skeptical about the new rule changes that like uh, how would these guys respond for a 24-point swing? I mean, we all think 24 points. We see these teams in modern day NBA score like 40 points in a quarter, 80 points and a half. Like a 24-point swing, we thought that would have been over in easily like 6 to 7 minutes, probably even less than that. But they made it quite interesting. I mean, you could tell they genuinely cared about the game stakes at hand. When when some of the best players in the world want to play defense, they play defense, and it was apparent towards the end. I was full on for the whole let's keep the Raptors in for the East team going against quite arguably the top five players minus Chris Paul, but Chris Paul has done his due diligence to get on that stage at that point. But it was quite interesting to see the perspectives go against each other. Actually, quite impressed that Team Giannis had quite a comfortable lead all the way up until like the fourth quarter, and then Team LeBron kind of switched it around, drove up, kind of was getting etching back into the game and made it quite enjoyable. But I know the one thing we're all kind of like, does it really have to end the game like this? Was when Davis got called for a foul in the last part of the fourth quarter, and were kind of like, oh man, like a free throw. A free throw has to be like the lamest way to end a game. Can you think of any other ways that like a game could possibly end it on the worst way, buckets?
Having the basketball with time left on the clock in a playoff game, namely a game seven, deciding not to shoot a game winning shot or fouling another team when they have the ball with time running off the clock, aka the Spurs last year against the Utah Jazz, I believe. So yeah,
I kind of
or the Nuggets. I don't remember which one of those teams it was.
it kind of reminds me of in football whenever like a team has about like a minute and 30, minute and 20 left, and they decide to go for the field goal, although they're about 40, 50 yards away. Those are two kind of comparisons of just kind of, not quite sure if that's the way it should go, but yeah, genuinely enjoyed. What did you enjoy about this weekend?
I enjoyed the ending. The Elam ending was dope. If we're going to just dispense free advice for the NBA, let's go ahead and change the quarters. Let's go ahead and make them every quarter is played to a certain number. Let's just say like 24 again. We played 24 for 3 quarters. Aggregate score plus 24 at the end of the game wins for the fourth quarter. But let's make it all count like that again. Let's all get to a number because when you're going up to a number instead of time, I think players try harder. It was obvious at the end of that game. It definitely helped. And the harder they try throughout the game, the more entertaining it will be for all of us. And shout out to Chris Paul, too, for looking young and being an alpha male and being out on the court because that's the NBA's like time where you can really tell like who's an alpha and who's not. If like so, Chris Paul was out there in crunch time. Joel Embiid was out there in crunch time. Pascal Siakam was out there in crunch time, which is kind of surprising for him being so young, but he was out there. I believe Kemba was out there too. That was dope to see. But I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it all.
I think we should create anarchy in the NBA and let the players call their own fouls.
I honestly, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, under 2 minutes left. Let's just let them call their own fouls. I don't know. Let's find something better. Let's play win by 2 or something like that. No free throws
Like
or something.
Joel Embiid takes no shit from nobody. Like the man will not take lip. But on that last, what was it? Kind of the last, second to last possession, maybe. Whenever LeBron reached in and they called a foul on that. Imagine the TV ratings, just all eyes watching them two argue about who if that was a foul or not.
It was incredible to watch, honestly. It was weird seeing like everyone arguing calls in an All-Star game. And it was like LeBron, Harden, and Chris Paul just swarming referees, asking for calls.
And then you had Kawhi just chilling.
Calmly winning the MVP.
Just chilling.
Calmly and quietly winning the MVP. Shout out to that, and shout out to the Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP award.
Oh, yeah. And that will forever be the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP award. Something that will be engraved for generations to come. And honestly, I wish they keep the same format. Maybe change the quarters and point. What was it, the point limit? Like maybe encourage it up to 30 or 35. But it'd be nice to see in the future.
Fuck it, let's just play to 21. Just like in the streets. Let's change the nets to chain link nets too. That'd make it much cooler.
And then let's go outside.
Yeah.
We'll play.
Let's just go and play Rucker Park.
I'm down, honestly.
All right, here we go.
That would be primetime television. But yeah, All-Star Weekend, not much going on. There was a slam dunk contest, which debating on who you were going after. I know Eric Gordon, he was great dunker. Derek Jones Jr. is both great dunkers. What was it? Conahan, great dunker. Dwight Howard, legendary dunker. But do you think, Buckets, do you think they got it right with a couple of their calls? I mean,
well, let's just start by this. I'm not a Dwayne Wade guy, and today I learned Dwayne Wade is in the money and gets paid by the Miami Heat because he's the reason why he should have been a tie because that's what they were trying to do. Or the last dunk with Aaron Gordon losing by 1, but Dwayne Wade put up a 9 for his Aaron Gordon to have his Heat guy, Derrick Jones Jr. win. So
Yeah,
conspiracies, who knows?
I definitely don't think there should be a conflict of interest in individual in events like that.
Yeah, can we just get better judges? Like I enjoyed some of the judges up there, but I would like let's just gather a panel of great dunkers again. Because I saw a picture of Kobe Bryant, Jordan,
MJ
yeah, a bunch of like really good
wasn't Bill Russell
dunkers. I
on that
think so
panel.
too, actually. But yeah, it was just a bunch of really good dunkers. Vince Carter was on there too. Uh,
I get the celebrity hype of it. I get the the local namesake.
yeah,
Kind of get them
cool.
on.
Chadwick
Cool.
Boseman, awesome,
Love the dude.
great.
But
But
yeah, it kind of felt. It didn't feel like a competition. It felt like a popularity contest in a sense of like, okay, we get this dunk, and like all these guys are extraordinary dunkers. Like put all 4 of these dudes in a dunk contest circa 2000, they probably wiped the floor clean. But it's just want to create an actual environment where you want a person to actually go out there and win some of the best people. Why not kind of level it out and make it a fair playing ground? But it's whatever. It's just a dunk contest. It's not win or loss. It's really not affecting that much individuals. But I did see Jones Jr. got a deal from Puma recently, so kudos to him on that. But I will say I have seen a lot of NBA basketball games in person and a lot of warm ups.
not a big deal.
And yeah, small little flex. A big, huge basketball guy. But Derrick Jones Jr. was one of the few individuals. He is not a namesake name. Like you will not go across the street and ask a guy to name him. I guarantee you, 98% of people, maybe no, 99.9% of people will not pick out who he is. But he was one of the few individuals that like made me. I saw his pregame warm up against the Spurs a year ago. Easily one of the best pregame, in-game dunkers in today's game. So I understand why he won and why he was selected. The dude can yam it, but very impressed. Still kind of a little flawed that Gordon didn't get at least a higher score on his dunk on Taco Fall. Like I don't
Yeah, my
care.
King Taco.
I don't care who you are.
I,
Dunking over a dude 7'5", and if you come with that lame take that he didn't completely dunk over him, like he touched his shoulders, you're still hopping over a man and trying not to knock him over. That is impressive.
I can't believe that Taco literally just got peer pressured and bullied into being a dunk contest prop.
Uh,
What a tough life for Taco. I love Taco though.
Love the dude. Giannis was used as a prop too. Chance was used as a prop.
Many times.
I feel like being used as a prop is like a compliment. Like people generally think you're cool.
I think
want you to be a part of it.
That's my life goal.
Just be used as a slam dunk contest prop.
Yeah, I want someone to jump over me and just dunk the ball ferociously. And if my dunk doesn't get a 50, I'll personally fight the judges for you.
I'm gonna personally attend that, and I will videotape that. So
thank you.
Let's make that a goal, a campaign goal. Get buckets out on the slam dunk contest.
You hear that, Mayor Bloomberg, whatever your name is? You hear that?
Pay me. I'll endorse you right now. I'll give you my Venmo.
Oh, my phone's ringing. Wait, I think it's the mayor.
Bloom 2020. Whatever is corny. I don't even know if he has a campaign, but Bloom 2020. There you go. Dinner's on me, boys. Let's see. Back to more relevant topics than arranged political aspirations. We're going to talk about what is the most useless part of All-Star Weekend. Buckets, what is your least favorite part of All-Star Weekend?
I dislike the Celebrity All-Star Game because the celebrities that are actually good at playing basketball actually don't play in it, and we get stuck with a bunch of Joe Schmoes that no one knows about. And apparently there were skits or something this year. I didn't even watch it, so shout out to the Celebrity All-Star Game for being bad.
The one thing I actually legitimately hated about this All-Star Weekend was the NBA's kind of, I wouldn't say that, yeah, okay, they were pushing it. The push of platforms like TikTok to be integrated into their social content of the actual game had to be some of the cringiest things I've seen in a while.
The TikTok dunk or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
And
tough.
then,
That was really tough.
like, I'm
I didn't
not,
understand that at all. I felt like an old ass man. I was like, what is going on?
I am a Generation Z, and I felt like I was a get off my lawn kind of dude
Yeah,
with a lot of that stuff. Like, it's just cringeworthy. Like, it's not, it's not wholesome content. It's not fulfilling. Like, nothing happens out of that. It's just annoying.
dancing.
Yeah. I
I
mean, I
I
get the
downloaded TikTok the other day and I've opened it like 3 times, and I'm just like, yep, this is it.
this is what it is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I the most cringeworthy thing, and it's my oof for the weekend, which I feel bad for him because I think he was obligated by the National Basketball Association to do this and or his organization. But Jokic, yeah, did you see that one video, Buckets?
Oh
Is of
yeah.
like three TikTok girls, and he was
He
like,
didn't know what the hell was going. He didn't know what the hell TikTok
he was
was.
like posing in this. I don't even know what song that was, but it. I felt bad for the dude, and he was just like, he had the look of it, like, get me off this stage. Like, can I just go back to my
The
hotel?
publicist probably came up to him and was like, Jokic, darling, you gotta
Like,
come on,
huge.
Jokic.
Like, you got to expand out yourself. Like, they won't know you unless you do this dance.
Jokic, come here. Let me tell you something. After this, we'll go get you some chicken. And then Yoko's like, chicken? Oh. And
Okay.
then he's okay, all right. You said after you promised, and then he did it and then got his chicken. So
He's like, buddy, you ain't going to be seen in Denver. So this is the only way.
well, shout out to Jokic. Love Jokic.
Love him. But yeah, honestly, just burn down TikTok. That's all I ask for. It's at least burn it down or don't involve it with basketball. I never want to see that again. But the other thing that I think that should be revamped for All Star Weekend is the skills challenge. Not not a big fan. Don't really think that's the most accurate way to find quote unquote skillable players. Uh, what is it? Basically, just a run through of cones. One bounce pass and then a shot and a dunk. I think they should go back to what they had the traditional skills contest was. Remember when it used to be like two bounce passes, you do the chest pass, you do full court sprint across like an agility course, end it with the layup. No, you take the shot and then go back through the course again and then end it with a dunk. I felt like that was a lot more approachable to the skill sets you see that you practice on every week in basketball. Not not quite sure like why we kind of pushed it back off, but kind of felt like it was an afterthought. It's just like, oh, skills contest. All right, let's have it. It needs to be a time filler.
I definitely agree with you. I'm not a big fan of it. But this conversation always comes up around All Star time. Who do you think has the best All Star weekend now out of all of the major sports?
Oh, basketball, hand down, because we're actually talking about it.
So you're not a fan of the baseball home run derby and all that stuff?
Home run derby's chill. Like, it's cool to watch. I watched it last summer, but like it was summer, nothing was happening. I was like, all right, cool. They're hitting home runs. There's not much excitement to it. The All Star game is kind of a drag for baseball. I mean, you literally have one at bat per player and like zero point 0.2 innings pitched per pitcher. So you're really not seeing much. The rosters are like 45 people each. So
You get to see everyone.
you see everyone. For football, I've always been
the Pro Bowl's a joke.
I've always been a component of one. Pro Bowl should be after the season. It would also entice people that, especially for individuals, maybe so like Mahomes that were picked for the Pro Bowl this year. He could still go out there, be a face of the NFL, but he doesn't have to play. Some little things like that. Uh, I mean, I've always been the proponent that the NFL, football in general, really isn't an expedition sport. Like it's I've never really found it's a game you can have a pickup game with.
Yeah, it's tough.
So there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of
You just have to eliminate
equipment.
the linemen when it comes to that. You'd
Exactly.
have to play like a 7-on-7 kind
7
of
on
thing.
7, yeah. So, really really, if the NFL were to change the landscape of their All-Star games, they really should look into the 7 on 7.
Why do we have to have an All-Star game? Is my question. Why does NFL have to have an All-Star game? We already make
I
players play enough. I think we should just chill. Just have like a skills competition. Give everyone a nice trip to Hawaii and then call it a
I
week.
think it's just for the namesake, players like it because you're an All-Star. You have a greater chance of having, higher negotiations and, contract deals.
Yeah, the issue with
It's a
that
namesake thing.
is that everyone's a Pro Bowler nowadays. Mitch Trubisky last year was a Pro Bowler.
True.
So
Yeah.
if he can become a Pro Bowler, then anyone can become a Pro Bowler. So I think it's lost its luster. I'm definitely abolish the Pro Bowl kind of guy.
The hockey All-Star game, yeah,
Not bad.
not bad. Actually,
Watchable. Their skill competition's fun too, and they added a 3-on-3 women's game with the U.S. and Canada, and they're very hot rivals when it comes to hot women's hockey. So it's a good time.
What the MLB should do, and is what exactly the NHL did, is why don't we just do a USA versus the world type of game? I mean,
that would get ugly for the world. That would get really ugly.
Really,
for the world.
I think the world, especially in the MLB, could actually feel.
Wait, no, sorry, that would be ugly for the U.S. Sorry, I'm other way.
Well, vice versa. I mean, the U.S. just won the World Baseball Classic back.
Yeah, we see, but if you put like all Latin American countries together, the world would house the U.S. House them, absolutely dominate.
Yeah, but you could say the same for hockey. You could say the same for a lot of these other sports. But who knows? Like, it's just one game. You wouldn't see like the players putting in their full potential like they would in the World Baseball Classic. So who knows? But
fingers crossed for baseball and the Olympics and everyone playing.
Is that did they finally get? Are they actually going to allow Major League Baseball players to play this year? Or
I haven't heard anything that they said they weren't going to do it. I don't remember what Olympics baseball is in. Is it 2020?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is 2020.
Yeah, so baseball is happening in the 2020 Olympics. I forgot about that. That's interesting. I'm excited for that. But I haven't heard anything about like the amount of players or what kind of players can play for the teams yet.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they let that happen. I know 2020 is coming up with Japan this summer. I know the NHL is working on their contract agreements to actually let their professionals go over. So hoping we can send the best and go USA. Let's go for that gold, baby.
Hey, apparently the U.S. is having trouble qualifying. So
for baseball?
For baseball, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough to qualify.
I'm pretty sure you have automatic qualification though whenever you win the World Baseball Classic.
I think that those things are two separate things. It's kind of like the World Cup for soccer and the Olympics. I don't think you qualify automatically.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, and soccer doesn't even send their best individuals. They
I think they have a youth team.
Clubs. Yeah.
I don't remember what the age is, but I definitely think that is a thing. Yes.
I just saw the ESPN notification pop up. Did they I don't keep up with the NASCAR or anything, but did they suspend the Daytona 500 or?
Yeah, apparently it was raining last night, so I guess they stopped it and then they picked it up today, and I think it started up again today.
Gotcha. Well, if Dale didn't win, then I'm not interested.
I think Dale is retired, sir.
Exactly. If Dale didn't win,
hey, you're right.
I am not interested in the Daytona 500. Okay.
When you're right, you're right.
RIP. Anyway, a little bit back to basketball talk. Just a little recap of some other basketball events that happened this weekend. UTSA was back on the hardwood, back in the Convocation Center this weekend. Took a dub against Marshall on Thursday. Grinded out win. Really an awful shooting performance by both teams. UTSA shot like 15% from three and still was able to eke out a win. Then the next 2 days later, they met second place Western Kentucky.
Tough game,
yeah. Another overtime loss where just back and forth. Didn't hit the shots that we were set up for in the last 3 or 4 minutes of overtime possession. It was just one of those games. It always seems like every time we play Western Kentucky in basketball, it's an overtime game. I think it's been like what 3 in a row. And every game against Western Kentucky is where we're underdogs, no matter what.
Yeah, I
And
said that this would probably be the game of the season for them, and I thought the UTSA would actually be good, but they're not. So
it's it's IDK. Like they all rely on the play of their top two guards. So when their top two guards show up, Javon and Keaton, they can beat anybody in conference. But then when they have an off game, oh, they have an off like the team has an off day. So it's very, very I guess run and gun, very, very hit or miss sometimes. But with that conclusion of Western Kentucky, I believe UTSA finishes the season 6-7 or finishes conference play. But Conference USA has done this new thing where they have pod play, which is basically they group up. Well, we have 14 teams in Conference USA. I
sure, yeah,
think 13 or 14. It's a big conference, like
yeah, that's rather large.
rather large. So, in order to, I guess their theory for this was to expand their chances of getting tournament bids. But in the reality, like we have maybe 4 good teams and they all beat up on each other.
Yeah,
And every team beat up on each other. If you try to predict Conference USA basketball and you actually get it right, come with me to Vegas because no matter how much you actually watch it, you will not correctly guess who wins each week. Um, I saw last week like Rice beat UNT and Rice was pretty much third. And then
Rice lost to UTSA at home.
Rice lost to UTSA, and then Rice went on a 3-game winning streak, beating UAB. And who else did they beat? I want to say Marshall too. Not quite sure. And then UAB wins like 4 games on the road too. So it's just like you lose games you're supposed to win in the Conference USA. So there's no clear dominant favorite team like we've had the last like 4 or 5 years where, Middle Tennessee was pretty dominant. Old Dominion was pretty dominant. Western Kentucky was pretty dominant past years, but whenever there's a team that's not dominant in the regular season, the conference tourney is usually won by the 4th or 5th place team. So congratulations to FIU on being conference tourney champions. Can't wait for them to represent us.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. But yeah, UTSA got grouped in Pod 2 this year. I believe, off the top of my head, I don't have any Wi-Fi signal right now, so I can't bring up that schedule. But I know for sure they play Florida Atlantic, Marshall. What was it? Florida Atlantic, Marshall. Okay, tell me out here.
Yeah, I got you. I'm pulling it up now for you. I believe they got put into the bracket with Old Dominion as well.
There you go. That was the other one.
Yeah,
Old Dominion, Florida Atlantic,
yeah.
Marshall.
So FAU, UAB,
UAB.
Old Dominion, and Marshall are their pods.
It's so strange how it's spread out. Like in the next 2 weeks, they're playing. What is it? They're playing back in the combo against Marshall, who they just played in the combo.
Yeah, their schedule is they play the 27th, which is Thursday. They play FAU in Boca Raton. Then they come back for UAB. Then they go to Norfolk again to play Old Dominion, and then after that they come back again for Marshall again at home.
So they'd even like change up the conference schedules. Like every single team they play in the next 2 weeks, 4 games, they've already played. Like in that situation too, right? Like FAU was in Boca, so they got to go back to Boca.
And they got smacked there too.
They got smacked
79-64.
They beat Old Dominion in Norfolk, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, 85-81.
It's a hard place to win. Beat Marshall at home. Marshall's a good team. And what was it? We
lost to
UAB
76-86.
And we play UAB at home, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically a rematch.
Yeah.
Of
so
every single game.
if UTSA has a chance, they need to sweep pod play here.
Yeah, but improved seeding at least. I'd like to be maybe a 5 or 6 seed. 5, 7. 5 to 7 would be reasonable. I mean, best we can hope for is 5. The worst would be what, 8?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But
are you going to the conference championship game in Frisco?
When is that,
tournament?
Week of spring break?
March 11, 12, 13, 14.
Maybe. I kind of want to check it out. Like,
it's not that far of a drive.
What is it in the Star? It's in
Couldn't tell you.
the conference center.
Let's find out. I'm searching that as we're looking this up. But if it is, that'd be pretty wild.
I
I don't know
saw
why they wouldn't be in the Mavericks thing.
well, it's been there the last like 3 years, and I saw that people kind of complain how kind of empty and like kind of irky it is because they put like a giant curtain halfway between the games, and the stadium seats are so far away that it just feels like you're enwrapped around a giant like bubble that like nobody's around you. So kind of an odd experience, but who knows? Maybe it'll be a little bit more packed, but don't quite understand why they put it in Dallas though, considering our whole conference is pretty much based.
The Ford Center. Shout out to the Ford
Yeah,
Center.
there you go. The one in Frisco.
Yeah.
I also like. I'm glad it's in Texas because it gives the opportunity for the Texas schools to actually go and have support. But at the same time, I also recognize our conference goes all the way to Virginia, wraps down to Florida, and goes all the way to El Paso. Like,
Geographic location doesn't matter anymore with conference, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, we could have put it in like Georgia, maybe Atlanta.
Hey, it's close for us to go to, so we'll take it.
Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, got to look out for the conference buddies every once in a while. We haven't done much to, I guess, bolster our claim and saying it stays in Texas. So the least we can do, but as of now, it's ours. Be forever here. But yeah, UTSA hits back on the hardwood, I believe, next Thursday.
10 days from now.
10 days from now. Wow, we have a huge break. Spurs basketball doesn't come back into play until, is it Wednesday? Wednesday or Thursday?
Let's look that up for you right now, Zoli. Their next game is the 21st, which is Friday, against the Utah Jazz.
Well, looks like I'll be looking for some games to watch. Unfortunately, the college season has been kind of a bore. I haven't really picked up a team elsewise besides UTSA, but is there a team I should be rooting for besides Oklahoma State Buckets?
In college play?
Yes, sir.
Dayton.
Yeah, I've actually looked in some of the Dayton games and seen how they played. Were they 25-2 or something like that? Top five?
Something like that. We've got money on them to win the national championship. That's why. Obi Toppin hopefully will carry me there.
Well, I'm a Dayton Flyers fan for this week, so we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be a boring week. Not much basketball, not much sports really going on besides college basketball. I'll dive in a little bit of what happened in my personal life this week. Remember that basketball team I was talking about, Buckets?
Sure, yes.
Little league basketball team I was coaching?
Yeah.
We got our first dub.
Congratulations.
I'm officially advocating for Coach of the Year to have an impressive turnaround as we did. I was very, very impressed with my kids. Finally learned the fundamental systems that we're bringing up in our system,
Well, I'm sure it was the coaching.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Hard nose, just grit, emphasizing teamwork, emphasizing that they really don't have to shoot three-pointers, even though they kind of want to shoot three-pointers.
But 3 is more than 2. Don't you see, Zoli?
But when you're 0 for 30 from the three-point line.
But Zoli, 3 is more than 2. Don't you see? That's what the math nerds are telling me. That was my understanding of basketball.
I still don't comprehend. But we're 2 games away from the playoffs, so I'm going to be in full swing coach mode, trying to rev them up because I believe we will make the playoffs. So I'm all excited about that. The joy of the little ones learning the hard grind of basketball. I'm gonna lace up my shoes on the hardwood for the first time in like 2 years for competitive basketball this week. So that ought to be a shit show. But not much we can say for the rest of the week. But glad y'all tuned in. Want to give a shout out to Pub Sports Radio for hosting this week's Zoli's Court. Come down to Sound 101, have a brew, have some food. I want to thank my main man Buckets back there for helping me out this week. See y'all next week.